Not to be dramatic, but I think buying a Kindle was kind of the best decision I've made in my adult life. I just got a Kindle and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I kind of wanted to talk through why I got a Kindle, which Kindle I got, whether or not you should get a Kindle, what books I plan to read on my Kindle, how I plan to source books, maybe some free and cheap books, and I have a tip for getting library books on your Kindle, so stay tuned for that. First off, let's talk about why I bought a Kindle. So I am a mom, and in the last year, my only reading time is really at night when he goes to bed, but we room share actually, so if I'm turning on the light, it's gonna wake him. So most of the time I end up reading on my phone, and I feel like I'm so distractible. It also like drains my battery. The battery can last for weeks, even months on the Kindle, so that's a huge pro over using your phone to read. The screen is obviously bigger. I don't know if it's a psychological thing, but I genuinely believe I read faster when I am reading ebooks. When I read the Harry Potter books for the first time, it was when I was like 18. I read all of them physically except the fourth book, and the fourth book I read the quickest. I read that like 700+ page book in like 2 days. And I think having that little percentage of how much of the book you've read in the corner really helps you keep the momentum. It feels as close as you can to reading a physical book, besides reading a physical book, because you have a dedicated device for reading. When I was in the book community a few years ago, I feel like I was so drawn to having a library of books on my wall, and I do. I love to collect books. I do love having a bookshelf of books I love, and I also love having a stack of books that I have yet to read that I'm excited to read. So whether you love the idea of an e-reader for sustainability reasons or for just less clutter around your house, I do think the idea of an e-reader is nice for that aspect. But it feels very cool to be able to have a library of books at my fingertips, and I'm such a mood reader, so that means I'll be able to read fantasy in the morning and romance at night. So what Kindle did I buy? I bought the Kindle Paperwhite, the 11th generation, and I got the one with 16 gigabytes, which is a lot because I was worried I wouldn't have enough space on it, but turns out I was doing more research and the 8 gigabytes is basically like 1,000 books, I believe. This would hold way more than I would ever really need it to, I'm sure, because if I reached 1,000 books, I could probably purge a few to be able to keep downloading them. I like that it's blue light blocking, it has warmness settings, and it goes very, very dim, or it can go very, very bright, so you can read indoors, outdoors. This one is waterproof. I love the screen size. I believe it's 6.8 inches, so it's the perfect size. I feel like it's quite portable, and I love this case I chose for it. And I also planned to put a pop socket on the back. However, the case I got has a very convenient strap for holding it while reading, and this comes so in handy when reading in bed at night. That's when the most of my reading gets done. This video is not sponsored in any way. I'm just really obsessed and so excited about this new purchase. But if you want to check one out for yourself, I'll leave the link to the exact one I got so you can see. I'm going to touch on some resources to get affordable ebooks and free ebooks and books from your library onto your Kindle, because it feels like the options are kind of unlimited. Pun intended, because I'm thinking about subscribing to Kindle Unlimited, but it has so many more books than I expected. Some really cool fantasy series are available. One of my favorite book series, A Darker Shade of Magic, is actually available on Kindle Unlimited, so I highly recommend you pick that one up. Another thing I was checking out was the Prime Reading option, so those are just free available if you have Amazon Prime, which I assume you do if you're buying a Kindle, but it has mostly indie authors on Prime, available on Prime Reading, but it's a very cool resource for free books. You can also email yourself copies of EPUBs if you have any available, like on your iBooks, or if you get an ARC from a publisher. And that leads me into my next point, getting books from the library onto your Kindle. You can actually download Libby by Overdrive and connect your library card in order to be able to check out books to your Kindle for free from your library. It's the best deal ever. Should you get an e-reader? So I really think this depends on the kind of reader that you are. I think e-readers are a must for mood readers because there's a whole library at your fingertips and you don't have to take 5 books with you everywhere you go. Who wants to go to the coffee shop with 3 different books because they can't decide what they're going to be in the mood for when they get there? I also think e-readers are just so accessible both financially and for people with disabilities. So I think that they are a really good option. I just think it's really appealing to be able to change the font based on your need. They have fonts specifically for those who are dyslexic. So I think Kindles are super worth it for me and my lifestyle, but it really just depends on the person. Let me know in the comments below, do you prefer hardback, paperback, or e-reader? I used to be a paperback girly, but now I'm really leaning towards e-readers. I liked the convenience of a paperback, but I also just love getting a good deal. So being able to get really good deals or also free ebooks of books I've already been wanting to read.
I just can't say no to that.
And I'm also going to pop on the screen a few book recommendations. You can read these either on Kindle or just physically, but I just wanted to shout out some of my favorite books that I think you should check out. I hope you found this video helpful in deciding whether or not you want to invest in a Kindle for yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if it inspired you to get reading in any way, make sure you give it a like and make sure to subscribe to Matchbox Muse for more cozy content.